Hello and welcome back to the Game Bet Match podcast. I'm your host, Manny Friedman, along with my co-host.
Brad Sloan.
Back in the house,
Back in
baby.
the house, baby.
Round 4.
I know we missed round 3, man. Like that was a miss. We did not win the French Open
No,
of podcasting. We
we
missed
did
a
not.
round.
We
We
missed
lost
the
in the
round.
third round. Maybe,
I
yeah.
wish we did pod because betting for me was pretty bad. Pretty bad, to say the least, in round 3.
The funny thing is, I think most of the stuff we got wrong is stuff we agreed on.
I
Like a
know.
lot, like this,
Oh.
you and I. Although it's funny because like you and I didn't even necessarily disagree on like Arnaldi or Machac. Like I understood both those bets. I don't think they were bad bets.
Mhm.
And those are the two. Those are probably your two like shining moments of the last 2 days.
They were. Yeah, and we didn't make either of them GBM plays. I apologize. GBM plays have really been taking a hit recently, but we'll look to rebound. It's still about half the year left.
Yeah, I mean, it could always happen. You know what I mean? It's not completely done. Like we'll try to make a run at it. It's
For sure.
we don't make that many GBM bets either. Like, like on the scale of things, like it takes hundreds
Yeah.
of bets to like really understand like if things are really good or bad. Like, so.
But betting aside, I thought it was a fantastic couple days of tennis.
Oh, today was ridiculous. Like
Today was
just the fact that
insane.
like you could watch tennis all the way into hockey in the United States was amazing. Like and I didn't watch all day. Like I was out for like most of the afternoon.
Yeah.
But like the fact that you could, if you wanted to, you could have watched the French Open all day. Well, actually, it's kind of stunk with the rain. But like between the rain and the scheduling, it's kind of stunk. But you could have watched French Open tennis for like the entire afternoon, and then watched hockey at night. Which I did watch the hockey game at night. So yeah.
But like from kind of a better slot, a guy that kind of wants to watch all the matches, I thought the rain was good because like it staggered the matches pretty well where you could kind of get a taste of everything today. And the fact that they moved like a few matches to Chatrier and it just like went later and later.
I think that's what helped. I think the moving the matches to Chatrier helped. It's something I'd like to see these tournaments do more of. I know why they don't, but I'd like to see them do more of it. Like, and also, I don't know, like you and I have gone back and forth on this, Manny. I feel like they should get rid of that rule. Like, if you've got to finish a match, I feel like they should play that first. Make sure you get it in and give those guys like the maximum rest.
100%. Totally agree. I
mean,
like
Burrs and Dimitrov didn't finish till tonight, and I think they have to play tomorrow again.
Yeah, but I thought moving that to Chatrier, like after this Zverev Griekspoor,
that was a savior move. It was a savior move,
but it was also kind of dumb because they knew that like if that went 5 sets, Djokovic and Musetti would be out there until 4:30, right? And that's when it affects into the next round. So I understand they had to get that done.
The only thing I guess I would count with that is like the one thing that saves them here is that Djokovic and Musetti do have an off day. They are not playing tomorrow.
Yeah, I think, what they could do is play one of the top half quarterfinals on Wednesday.
Because I think that would be smarter. I agree.
It would be smart, so then like, why do you have to catch up in the first week when you have a full second week? Like, they view the catch up as like an immediate priority, right? But like you can push it back, especially when guys have 2 days off.
I think it becomes about ticket sales, to be honest, right? It becomes about ticket sales. Because like I imagine they're gonna put that, given that they put like every men's match on at night pretty much. I don't think they've had a single night women's match yet this tournament. And so like given that they'll probably want to throw one of those men's matches at night and like then how do you get a day? If you only have one match in a day, how do you have it be both day and night? You can't, right? So like that's I think where.
But they only have one match at night, so they want to give the ticket holders a 3 out of 5 set match, which I think is great. Like it has nothing to do with sexism. I just think that that's like what the ticket holder is paying for. But that's
I also think that like, I mean, let's be honest, right? Like men's tennis outdraws women's tennis. In general, like not in every instance, but in general, like you just
pay a gazillion dollars and you get 6-love, 6-1. Like I would be besides myself.
Yeah.
Like, but
that's happened before. I went to a US Open match on Ash like several years ago, and I got in a little bit of trouble because like the women's match was like Azarenka and I think like one of the Chinese players.
Yeah.
The Chinese player ended up losing 6-0, 6-1, and my buddies and I made a bet like at the end of the first set on like whether or not the match would last an hour. And it ended up going 59 minutes. And at the end of like 59 minutes, I'm like, fall, fall, fall. Because I wanted the win to fall to win my stupid bet, my buddy.
Uh,
Yeah, of course, she ended up making the serve and losing the point. And like
yeah.
that's what destroyed my bet. Like it was like 59 minutes and 50 seconds. So like I would have won the bet like if she had just faulted the first serve.
Oh,
But the
that's
point is like, yeah, I like you get to a point where it's just like silly. You know what I mean? And if you
yeah.
like the other thing too is like so often they put like the big names on and they're just complete mismatches and disasters. And like from a watching perspective, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, today it started with Medvedev Machac, which was a fantastic tennis match. That may have been one of my favorites of the tournament, just like from a point construction, um, like just pure tennis. That was a great match. I thought Djokovic Musetti was good, but like I preferred the Medvedev Machac.
I only saw the fifth set of that. I saw more of the Medvedev Machac.
Yeah.
I agree. I thought Medvedev Machac was great. I thought it was really interesting. It's always fun to watch Medvedev play as somebody who like enjoys tennis tactics. Because like when he's really focused, his
Hmm.
tactics are so good.
So good.
Like
Yeah.
he was hitting so many balls. Like what was fascinating to me is he was hitting so many balls up the line into the Machac forehand.
Hmm. That's
Which
true.
like you never see anyone think to do that. Like hitting balls up the line into someone's forehand is like usually like the biggest no-no ever, right? It's like why you but like
Yeah, it's smart because Mahak is slap happy with the forehand, and his backhand is world class. I mean, that backhand is a thing of beauty.
right. It's no, like
Um,
I thought it was it's the move that won him the match, but like,
um,
we talk about a lot of guys who and it's interesting because like Medvedev doesn't really have a lot of variety, but like it's really cool to watch Medvedev because I feel like he's one of those guys who like he gets everything out of what he has.
he does.
Like
He,
he really doesn't have that many tools. He's kind of the Brad Gilbert of this era, if you really think about it.
I would agree with that. That's a good take. Because he doesn't really hit much slice. He doesn't hit much junk. I mean, he has a decent drop shot, I guess. He has a good serve, but he doesn't like hit with much spin or pace, right? It's
He
just
plays
like,
way too far to ever come into net.
right. He's not very good volleyer, right?
Well, he's just too far back to even get in properly. Like,
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, his baseline tactics are incredible. And that's what,
and he's figured out, and he's so good. Like, he also is like incredible at accentuating the strengths he has. So he's
yeah,
incredible at making some of those like ridiculous angled passes and things like that. And he puts himself in position to like play shots that he wants to hit, which a lot of guys don't.
I know. I know. But
And
also he's super consistent and like I think his physicality is very understated and underrated.
100% his physicality. Also his mental toughness. Like
Hmm.
he's whiny, and let's be honest, he does tank sets, but he tanks set like it's such a weird thing. See, like the reality is he tanks sets that don't matter.
Yeah. Yeah. And he tanked the third set today.
Yeah,
I mean, Mahak did play a good third set.
but
But
Medvedev tanked it.
yeah, after he was down like 3-1, he said like screw this.
Yeah,
I'm gonna move on to the fourth. So but like moving on to Mahak, like I think his discipline has to be a tad better. I think he goes for big shots quite often, and I think like the slow conditions helped him. The fact that it was like very heavy and rainy, I felt like gave him some more time to kind of load up on balls and construct points to his liking as well. So like that's why I think it was such a good match because I think the heavy conditions made the rallies better.
I would agree with that.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. I think I definitely had the wrong take. Like you had the right take on that. I had the wrong take.
Mhm.
It still ended up Medvedev 3-1, which like would have been my pick.
Yeah.
And I didn't play. It's not like I backed Medvedev at a -6. You know what I mean? I think like if
But
I didn't think I
Mahak
would
was a better player for a lot of big portions of the first and second.
big portions of that match, big portions of that match,
Yeah.
Makacha was a better player. That's what I'm saying. Like you were 100% right on that match. Like that was a yeah. Like I
Yeah,
did
it's pretty
not.
much a 50-50 match. for the most part.
I wouldn't go that far, but it
Okay.
was definitely closer than the score indicated.
Yeah. Yeah. I gotta talk about his net game. His net game is phenomenal. Like his volume skills, like he actually struggles more with easy overheads than he does with like tough
It
drop
is weird,
offs.
right? It's weird how much he
It
struggles
is.
with his overhead because he lost a couple of key points in that match on missed overheads.
Yeah, he did. He did. Like I feel like he's better when he has less time. When he kind of plays on instinct. And then when he thinks has more time to think about what he needs to do, I feel like that's where he's a little bit shaky and can get like slap happy. Because like he feels the need to go for a big ball, but it's not really there, you know? I don't know. Just minor things I kind of picked up with his game.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I think some of that might be a perception thing. Like I think he just generally has like a little bit of a lack of discipline.
Mm-hmm.
And like when you have to hit a tough shot, like you just go for a tough shot and it doesn't matter, right? You just go for the shot that's there. But like to your point, when you have like more time, then you have time to like really like you have balls that you should make like he makes a lot of balls. What I would characterize him, he makes a lot of balls. He makes a lot of balls 75% of the time that you should make 100% of the time.
Agreed.
Like he makes a lot of easy shots 75% of the time that you should make 100% of the time, and it costs him matches. And then he makes a lot of balls 75% of the time that you should make like 50% of the time.
I
And
know.
that like keeps him in matches.
Yeah.
And so like it's like this, to your point, he plays like
It makes
almost
it really entertaining to watch though.
oh, it's incredible.
You
It's fun
know?
to watch. Like actually him and Arnaldi are quite similar.
Um, it's funny because when they play, Machac usually beats him. Like, I don't think it's a
Yeah.
good matchup for Arnaldi because I think Machac is better at playing. Well, they're both good at playing defense, but I feel like Machac has more a counter-punching style of defense, whereas Arnaldi has more of aggressive style of defense. That makes sense.
Yeah, I think that I think that it's difficult to say because like the way I would put it is that like Arnaldi is a like I think he's more athletic. I think he's a better athlete than Machac, slightly.
Slightly. I think they're both really good athletes.
They are both really good athletes, but I think like Arnaldi's a better defensive athlete, but I think Machac is better at like but he also lacks discipline. Like the thing for Arnaldi is he's kind of got like Macac's game maybe like fits together a little bit better than Arnaldi's does at this point. Like Macac's just like super aggressive. Like he's a defensive player, but he's like a counterpuncher, but he's like a very aggressive counterpuncher, and like
Mhm.
he makes everything 75% of the time, right? Whereas
Yeah.
Arnaldi, like he just like when he gets sped up, it seems to be a problem. Although
Right.
you would think it would have been more of a problem against Rublev, but I think that was a completely different issue. I don't think that was the same thing at all. Like I think that was a very different
I mean,
match.
we'll get into that match. It's a very interesting comparison because like you think that Machak is more a counterpuncher, but then when you watch him today, you're like, oh, he plays extremely aggressively. You know?
Except everybody plays aggressive against Medvedev, you know?
That's true. That's true. Well, I
Like,
think the difference with Mahak is that he's way better at net than Arnaldi,
yes, yes,
right?
yes, yes.
Um, I think both of them are weak. The next step for them is they need to improve their discipline and their serve. And I think both of them have that weakness,
Yeah, I agree. I
right?
agree.
I think Arnaldi has a much better forehand, but Mahak has a way better backhand.
Agreed.
So that's so they're similar. And I think discipline is a big problem for both of them, but in different ways. Like Arnaldi, when he's rushed, he has more problems, and when Mahak, when he has more time, he has more problems.
Yeah, it's
Right?
the opposite thing there.
It's the
You're absolutely
opposite.
right.
It's
Yeah,
the
yeah.
opposite. So, um, and I think Mahak's game, he kind of baits you into playing more offensively, whereas Arnaldi doesn't.
Ooh, that's an interesting point. Yeah, I don't think Arnaldi really baits you into anything. I think, yeah, I think you're right. I think you're right. I think
Just
Machac is much more
baits you
like,
into playing good points, but Machac like actually baits you. Like he gives you the impression that he's a counterpuncher, even though he's kind of not. So you want to hit big balls and force him into corners and stuff. Whereas Arnaldi just like he's just there hitting good shot after good shot, right?
well, no, it doesn't hit good shot. That's the problem. He doesn't hit good shot after good shot, right? Like,
Yeah, yeah. You
yeah, I
think
think
force
like
Arnaldi?
Arnaldi's more of like a he's more of like a pure athlete kind of standard tennis
Yeah,
player.
yeah,
Whereas like Makach's a little more tricky, a little more unorthodox. I'll agree with you on that.
yeah.
I mean, just the fact that like Makach's backhand is the strength, probably relative to his forehand, whereas for Arnaldi, the forehand is the strength relative to the backhand, tells you kind of what you need to
Who do
know
you
there.
think has more upside of the two? Like, who do you think will be, have a better next 3 or 4 years?
Isn't Arnaldi quite a bit younger? I'm gonna look this up.
Um, I mean, Mahak came through the challenger circuit, I would say maybe half a year later than Arnaldi. Because he kind of made his run in challengers like last September, right? And that was his springboard onto the main circuit, whereas Arnaldi did it maybe like 6 months earlier than that.
Wow, there's only 3 months difference in age. Yeah, you're right. I
Wow.
didn't realize Makach was so young. I think of him as being older. I don't
Yeah.
know why.
They're both
But
like
Makach made a springboard up at the end of 22. People kind of forget about that. He sprungboard up, and then it didn't really stick. And then he
okay.
springboard up a second time in 23, and it did stick.
Okay. And what's their ranking now? Mahak is 34.
And Makach is 44.
No, Mahak is 34 and Arnaldi is 44. So they're 10 spots apart.
No, Makach, at least from what I'm saying, Makach is 44. No, I guess Makach, no, you're right. I guess Makach did. Yeah, I'm looking at pre-Geneva. He did rise post-Geneva. So
Oh, okay.
he's pulled the rankings right now. Yeah, because you're right. He rose up a bunch of spots after that Geneva run. Makach is 34, Arnaldi's 35.
Wow. All right. So this is a very interesting comparison.
20 points difference.
That's crazy. That's
Now
crazy.
Arnaldi's dropping. Wait, how is Arnaldi dropping 170 points? Did he make the fourth round here last year?
Hmm.
Maybe that's next week he's dropping those points. Maybe like a challenger or something.
Could be.
Because I don't remember him doing that well here last year, the French.
No, he made the fourth round of the U.S. Open, but not here.
Yeah, I'm looking at it. Maybe the points drop. I don't know. The points dropping always confuses me.
Yeah. Well, I guess
Yeah,
let's
he made the second
transition.
round last year. Oh no, he won a challenger. He won a 170
Oh,
challenger last year. So that those are the points he's dropping.
makes
So,
sense.
anyways,
Let's transition over to Arnaldi's match with Rublev.
well, I gotta say, it's really cool that we started with Arnaldi and Machac. Like, I don't know if any other podcast started with those two guys, their first two guys, like that they talked
Yeah,
about.
that's true.
Like,
That's so true. That shows that we're total junkies.
I mean, we did talk against Medvedev a little bit, but like,
Yeah, the
yeah,
main discussion point was Mahak and
and
Arnaldi.
Arnaldi, yeah, yeah.
Well, two of my favorite players to watch, honestly. Like, I
Hmm.
really like them both.
I love watching these. Like, it's kind of cool to watch this because they're so flawed,
Yeah.
and it's like kind of cool because like to watch them because you can see the flaws and you can see like what they have.
But you also see a lot of room for improvement because they're great
That's what I'm
athletes.
saying by the flaws, right? Like but they're like correctable flaws, but you see the flaws. There's like more to look at, more to analyze. That's why I think it's kind of cool.
Right. Yeah. Arnaldi Rublev. So Rublev just self-destructed from a mental perspective. Um,
I mean, so I think that's one take, but the other huge take, and you and I talk about this all the time.
yeah.
What really lost him that match was no net game
Hmm.
and no game from the short. Like the number of balls he like did goofy stuff with in the short court was
Yeah.
astounding.
Yeah, he just like hits a big ball, and if Arnaldi gets it back, he runs back to the baseline. It's like weird.
Well, or like when he comes in, it's a mess too, and like
Yeah.
yeah, it's just
He
yeah,
just like stays at the service line and maybe like if the ball comes back really fast, he has to like do a reflex like volley from no man's land. It's weird.
He just like I
Very,
said, he just like generally looks like slightly confused
yeah.
whenever he has to come in like to the service line. Like, and I think it's a huge detriment to him, right? Like it's a huge problem. And like Arnaldi showed that 'cause, like Arnaldi played like and the other thing is like Arnaldi played really well. Like I
Yeah.
think it was coming after like he gave Arnaldi wings so Arnaldi could fly.
Yeah,
Like
that's
Arnaldi really did like, but Arnaldi really did like that. He played really within himself.
he did. He did. He wasn't like making those dumb like first or second ball errors that we're accustomed to. Like he completely cut those out. And to be fair, he played this well against Muller as well. I don't know if you saw much of that one,
I
but
did not see any of the Muller
he
match,
played
so like I'll take your word for
fantastic
it. But like
against Muller. And I know Muller doesn't hit nearly as good of a ball as Rublev, but honestly, that match impressed me more than the Rublev match because I knew that like the pace is what Arnaldi likes, right? He doesn't like when people just kind of run down balls.
yeah, I mean I'm more impressed
Like,
they beat Arnaldi
yeah,
than Muller, but
but
like or Rublev
I
than
was
Muller.
I was impressed at how convincing it was against Muller. Just like
Oh, so
brush
no,
him
I mean
aside.
I completely agree that straight setting Muller is a good job by Arnaldi. And it's maybe he is turning around that discipline. Look, he's only 23.
Yeah.
Like there's like he's allowed to improve.
But honestly, I think these slow, heavy conditions help him in that aspect. I can 100% guarantee you. And like that's why Rublev couldn't make any progression with his ground strokes because of the slow conditions. Like that had
But
a
Rublev won
big
Monte
part of it.
Carlo in 2022 and 2023. I have a hard time saying that Rublev's not a good slow court player. Like, I just don't think, and he's won several clay court titles on slow clay, including Monte Carlo, which is the slowest of all. I'm not going to say that Monte. I'm not going to like. I actually don't really
Okay, I
like that
mean
slow
you're
clay.
probably right, but I also think he was in way better form last year. Like if you take out
Really,
the
his Monte Carlo form was that good? Like his form heading into Monte Carlo was that good?
that's good, and then he backed it up in Banja Luka. Remember, he made the
No, but
final.
I'm saying heading into Monte Carlo. Like his form was not that good heading into Monte Carlo. Like it wasn't as good as I think it's a narrative that it's easier to write because he won because he did poorly because he won Monte Carlo and did poorly in the French this year. Like he didn't his 2023 early hardcourt season wasn't that good. It was okay. It wasn't amazing. Like
I
did
mean,
he win anything early 2023? I don't think so.
I know he made quarters of Australia. I mean, he did that this year
He
too.
makes scores of a lot of slams. Like let's be honest. That's not really like out of the realm of regularity for him.
He made final of Dubai last year, lost to
Okay.
Medvedev. Um, Indian Wells, he made third round loss to Cam Norrie. Well, fourth
That's not
round,
great.
not great. And then he lost to Sinner, who played a fantastic match in the round of 16 in Miami. Then won Monte Carlo, made the final of Banja Luka, round of 16 in Madrid, round of 16 in Rome, and then lost to Sonego at Roland Garros. So, but I don't know. To me, that like the Monte Carlo win and the Banja Luka final getting there, I think that's more impressive if you want to count like view his slow court form than the outlier Madrid title. Like to me, like if we're okay, scrap last year. Just think about this year, right? He with all those like first round losses after Dubai, right? If you take out Madrid, which we call a weird tournament, where is that line with Arnaldi? Like that has to
Well, I
be
think it's pretty similar. Like, I
really?
think Rublev's done so much at this point that, like, unless he's a disaster, you're still going to call him top 10. Like, he has to be really bad for you. Like, he has to be really bad for a prolonged period of time for you to think he's outside the top 10. Also, like, he was, I don't know, he was okay. Like, his clay court season before Madrid was a disaster. But
Mhm.
the assumption was that was because he was mentally messed up after the whole Bublik incident.
Yeah.
So I don't mean like so yeah, to your point, like if he would have had a poor Madrid, yeah, the line would have been worse because he would have had an entire poor play court season. But like,
Well, to me, when handicapping that match, I didn't think about Madrid at all. I was thinking about it without Madrid, actually, because the conditions were totally different.
and like you won this one, but I think that's an over extreme handicap because like you've got to assume that like Rublev's not that bad. Like okay, so Rublev isn't that bad. He's gonna go 1-4 on play at sea level. Like he's just not. Like he's not that like if you were handicapping him based on his 1-4 record in 2024 on sea level clay, I think that's wrong. Outside or so 1-3. If that's what you're handicapping him, that's just wrong. Like, there's no way to put that. Like
Yeah, okay, but that's what his results show. I don't think like I think he's lacking form, and I think he took advantage of a good opportunity in 1 week and played well there. But like I don't know. I don't think
I
then
think he
also the
had
sickness that he got after Madrid into Rome, like I think that also carried into his preparation for this tournament as well.
potentially, but he did fine in the first couple rounds. I'm not like
I don't
I I
know.
think the story here is Arnaldi. Like I think the story here is Arnaldi plays a really, really good match. Like that I think there I didn't anticipate him playing I did not anticipate him playing that disciplined of a match. And it probably helped that Rublev was self-destructing mentally. Like that probably helped Arnaldi and his coach to be like, dude, just make like 5 balls and why? Because like
Yeah.
honestly, like it was like that's as bad, maybe not as bad, but it's one of the worst times I've seen Rublev self-destruct. Not just the actions, but I don't know if you remember the 40 love game that he blew,
Yeah,
just
that was
whacking
really,
balls like 8 feet
yeah.
out.
Yeah.
Like there's a double whammy there. And like you talk about mental game way more than me.
Hmm.
But like as a player, if you watch a guy lose a 40 love game the way Rublev lost that 40 love game, like to me that just means make 5 balls. Make I mean I
Yeah.
always say 20. Like my rule of thumb is make 20 balls every rally. That's hard to do, but like, but really it's like make balls.
Yeah.
Like make balls and make this guy hit balls because like he clearly was not like
I mean, in the last year and a half, we've praised Rublev so many times on this pod for like getting mad at himself, but compartmentalizing it well and getting back to the job at hand. And like that was kind of a blast from the past in which he wouldn't do that.
yes and no. Like the
You know?
second set, yeah. He's self-destructed on the second set. Like there's no arguing that. I feel like the third, like I really liked Rublev. I really thought that Rublev's comment was really really fascinating. I gave Arnaldi wings and this so that he could fly, and he did. Because Arnaldi played amazing the third set.
Mm-hmm.
Like I thought Rublev actually like did compartmentalize by the third set. Like he the second set he just blew completely. 100% a lot agree with you on that. But I thought he compartmentalized pretty well for the third set. But Arnaldi was just so like focused at that point and so
Yeah.
like he
Arnaldi
like
played a hell of a third set. No doubt.
and like Rublev self-destructing like gave Arnaldi a reason to be disciplined, which made him play better. Right? Like the last thing with Arnaldi you need to do is give him the reason to be like a reason to be disciplined.
Well,
Right? Like because like
yeah,
that's his biggest issue.
it is. It is.
Especially in that matchup. Because like he also has other issues too, but in that matchup, like where Rublev can't finish at the net, like Rublev failed to finish so many points also.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there were
He just
points
like
where he just couldn't put the ball away because the conditions were too slow and he didn't have a way through.
or he can't come to net, right? That's the
Yeah.
problem. Like I think the 2 point like everybody talks about the Rublev self-destructing mentally. And like that's a story. Yes, I agree. But the two stories that nobody talks about are, or that very few people talk about, are Rublev's lack of net game
Hmm.
and Arnaldi playing with freaking well.
Yeah.
And it's almost frustrating because like
I agree
the
with
like it almost is like people are it's almost like it's been taken away from Arnaldi that he played well
you. Yeah.
and the line has
That's
become
very
that
true.
Rublev like self-destructed.
Yeah.
And I think that's unfair because like 2 of those 3 sets Arnaldi won.
Yeah,
Like
and the
Rublev
reason
lost the
why
second
Rublev
set.
was so pissed was because Arnaldi was playing so well, right? Like, and he couldn't do anything. He was just like lost on the court. And like it's a
Part of
match he's
it. I mean,
expected to
that's
win.
part of it too. Like Arnaldi won 2.5 sets on his own.
Yeah.
And maybe half a set Rublev gave him. But like he won 2.5 of those 3 sets. Like, and I just
Well,
it's frustrating to see that like I haven't seen a single person credit Arnaldi.
yeah, that's true. That's very true.
Like, have you seen anybody credit
I have
Arnaldi for playing
not. The
well?
only things on X I've seen are videos of Rublev going.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. So, I mean, I think it's a totally different matchup against Tsitsipas, and we'll get into that fourth round match, but he's going to be playing someone with a net game
Yeah.
this round.
Yeah.
So,
Exactly. Yeah.
yeah. Moving on. I guess let's talk a little bit about Alcaraz. I thought that was his best match of the tournament against Korda. I'm not taking too much into it because like I don't think Korda is that good on clay or
Ooh, so I wanted to talk about this. I was looking something up, man. So I want to see if I can find this. It's gonna take me a minute, but you can talk about your thoughts. But I have a take here.
um to me, I'm not like I think Sinner, Djokovic after that comeback, and Zverev are still at a slightly higher level than Alcaraz at the moment. Um, like I'd have to put them ahead, and I don't like the way Alcaraz is serving. I don't think he's holding serve convincingly enough. I don't think he's hitting his spots that well. Um, and he's just going through too many spells of unforced errors, and that really troubles me. Like I guess even since Wimbledon last year, I've really yet to see him play like a complete match, start to finish without errors, and just like beating down a guy like Korda. Like he really should be beating Korda down 2, 2, and 4. You know, he did that in 22 when he was at 18.
That's interesting. That's a 10 game spread. Like Court is a little better than that. Like maybe 2, 4, and 4 or
But
something. I don't know, but that's a little
what I'm
extreme.
saying is that would impress me if he was beating down him,
Okay. Okay.
and the fact that it was like 4, 6, and 3, that's okay. But like he didn't prove anything to me, so I kind of view Alcaraz the same as from the previous rounds. I don't like say, oh, he's jumped a level and he should be now a favorite to win the tournament. I don't view him like that.
Yeah, I mean, also said to De Jong, right? It's really interesting to see talk about who
Yeah.
like you think should be favored to win the tournament because like
I think he's still the odds maker's favorite to win the tournament, which to
and
me
he
is
probably like who would you put as the odds maker favorite to win the tournament? I think it still is really wide open.
you're probably not going to agree with me, but after the comeback against Musetti, I put Djokovic.
I I can understand that. I don't agree at all. I don't agree at all. But I understand it. I
And
mean,
I think the fact that that match was so competitive and so tough, and he got through it and played so well at the end, I think that's good for him. Like he needed that. If he got through that in 3 sets and won like 6, 4, and
yep,
5, and like
I hear
one
you.
Musetti just self-destructed at the end of each set, I would think Djokovic is in the same place. But after that, I think he's gonna fly, to quote Rublev now after Musetti gave him the wings to fly.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
What's
I,
your take on Alcaraz though?
I don't know, man. It's really hard to judge. Like it's really hard to judge because like I just don't like I need to see Alcaraz in a match. Both Alcaraz and Sinner. I need to see them tested before I can say anything. Because like I don't. We've seen Alcaraz like do this so much similar. It's kind of similar to Medvedev, where like he's just not the best at like putting away matches easily that he should. But like he really hasn't been like really tested yet this term. Like even De Jong didn't really test him.
Yeah.
Like there was never a doubt as who was going to win that match. Right. You know what I mean? So like I need to see these guys play somebody, and the same thing is true of Sinner. Like Sinner's look great, but he's beating up on guys.
Yeah,
he'll probably beat up on
he's not
Musetti.
playing
Like
anyone that can.
what?
Like Pavel Kotov is not going to trouble him.
Right.
Corentin Moutet is not going to trouble him either, right? Like it's just he's had a cakewalk draw. Let's be honest. But Sinner's been like tugging at the hip a little bit. Like, I don't know.
I know, and like that's why I want to see him. I want to see him get through some sort of test before I really trust him. Alcaraz at this point, honestly, same thing. And then Djokovic, okay, he passed the test, but he's looked so bad all year. Zverev did not look good today, but he looked damn good the rest of the tournament. I thought Ruud Fokina was actually a really good tennis match. I don't know how much that you saw.
Yeah, that was good. I saw
Ruud, like Fokina played really well.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was so sad too because it was another Foki match. Like he just every match for Foki's the same thing.
When they just started the fifth set, I hammered Ruud minus 165 because I was like, well, I played that and I parlayed it with Echeverry down 2 sets to Rinderknecht. And then Rinderknecht, it was the worst. And then like Rinderknecht, Etch came back, he won the third, right? And then Rinderknecht had to retire because he injured himself by kicking the damn thing. So I got a freaking push on that. It's just ridiculous. It's so bad. It's so bad. But like,
all right. So I wanted to bring up something before that. I brought up the stats. So Korda is 6-16 in his career against top 10 players.
Okay.
But it's very interesting because the guys he's beaten are Schwartzman, Agut, FAA, Medvedev twice, and TFO. And what's really interesting about all those guys is they all hit like a flatter ball.
Yeah.
But yet, like against guys like Nadal, Rublev,
well, he came close against Nadal in Indian Wells.
What?
He came close against Nadal in Indian Wells. Right? Wasn't he up 5-1 and then choked?
Yes. That's fair. So Nadal fair. But Alcaraz has destroyed him in his career. He's played Djokovic rather tough, actually. Korda has. I think they played a couple times, maybe only once.
Okay. Just once in the Adelaide final.
Yeah, but he played Djokovic tough in the Adelaide final. Again, Djokovic is a flatter ball hitter. Yeah. I don't want to say he's completely flat, but he's a flatter hitter. But like I think he really struggles against guys who play with heavy spin. Oh, he's played Hubie really tight. Like him and Hubie have played several times, so he's been really tight. Maybe not several times.
Everyone plays Hubie tight, though.
That's true.
Like,
but I think it's interesting. I do think there's definitely something to be said where like players who hit with heavy spin, like Sinner, Alcaraz.
Has he played Ruud?
Ruud, like really struggle, really create problems for Korda. I think that forehand does not do well against heavier shots.
I could see that. I think also Korda is not a great athlete. I don't think he's that explosive.
I would agree with that. I
think he's very smooth and he's very like.
Well, I think that's why he struggles against players who hit with heavier spin.
Exactly, because he can't
explode into the spin to get on top of it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And he has like really smooth shots, but he doesn't have that like injection of pace that like a Machac has, for example, or an Arnaldi has, you know?
He does, but not at the same level. I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
So I agree with that take. I mean, Korda shouldn't be a tough matchup for Alcaraz on a clay court, on a slow clay court.
I agree.
So, you know, the fact that Alcaraz did not cover the spread doesn't impress me.
But Alcaraz hasn't been impressive, to your point, since Wimbledon.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Like, I think it's an issue at this point. I mean, it's been a full year now.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if he wins
We've
this
said
tournament,
very
we'll
few
forget it
positive things about Carlos Alcaraz in this podcast
since Wimbledon.
since Wimbledon.
Yeah. I mean, maybe after Cincinnati, right? With that crazy match.
Yeah, that was a great match. He played a great. He played a good tournament, but honestly, that wasn't that great of a tournament for me. He
It
just played a
wasn't.
great match against Djokovic.
It wasn't. Yeah. Yeah, the fall was pretty bad. Australia was pretty bad. I mean, Indian Wells. I mean, that was a good event for him. We definitely praise him there to some extent, but
We praised him a little bit. We also said like he should win that event,
yeah.
which is crazy to say that somebody should win a Masters 1000, but it's probably true.
That's probably the best court in the world for him.
I would say so. I would say so.
Sinner, easy draw. I'm still worried about the hip, but if he can get to the quarters without dropping a set, and he's gonna have 2 days off between the semis or the quarters and the semis, 2 full days off. So, yeah. But, I say that Djokovic should be the odds maker's favorite, but he has the toughest draw because he has Ruud in this quarter, and then he would have to play Zverev in the semis.
I don't even think that. Like, we'll talk about it, but he has Cerundolo next round.
Okay.
That's a given pick, but yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if Dolo plays the same way he did against Tommy Paul, that could be a tough match, but I don't think he will.
Okay.
Like, that was an incredible performance. Those last 3 sets by Dolo, that was phenomenal.
Oh, I mean, Dolo can play great tennis. That's the thing, right? Like,
yeah. But honestly, I think the Dolo matchup against Paul, like he plays Paul really tough. I think he has a very positive head-to-head against him.
I thought it was more just very even. I'm looking this up.
Dolo's 4-2. Because he beat him in Madrid as well this year. Paul
Yeah,
got
Dolo 4-2. You're right. Yep, Dolo 4-2. Ironically, they played 3 times on grass somehow.
Yeah, that's true. Every match has been close. So.
This was such a frustrating match, man. How that didn't get over 37.5, I'll never know.
Brutal. It's terrible. Take me off.
Me too. I was that was a bet I was very angry to lose because, like, yeah.
I mean, that over-under should have been 40, honestly. With, like, I thought 5 sets was also a good bet, but the fact
I played the 5 sets at a lower stake. Yep.
Yeah. It just seemed inevitable. And like even when Dolo was up a break in the fourth, I wasn't that concerned because I thought he would get tight. And he did the first time and then he broke immediately back. Like Paul struggled to hold serve the entire match.
The entire match, yeah.
Like, let me see. I'm gonna pull up.
I mean, I still don't know if Paul's that good on clay. I know we were praising him after Rome.
Yeah.
And I know he won a junior French title. Like, I don't know, man. He just doesn't. Oh, when you watch him, he doesn't seem to move that well on the surface.
Yeah, he kind of stumbled and like he was slipping and sliding all over the place today. Like, I don't know. But Dolo was also hitting lines.
Yeah, I know. It's hard. I'm probably overreacting. I'll lay off with Tommy Paul.
Dolo broke 9 times. He had 19 break points. It's a lot. 9 times? It's a lot.
Especially I imagine it was 4 short sets. There were only, I mean, that's insane. So I think Paul only served 18 times. Who served first? Paul served first. I know the answer. Paul served first. So yeah, Paul had 18 service games and Dolo broke him 9 times.
That's crazy. That's insane.
That is crazy.
It's insane. Yeah.
I'm actually looking at something really quickly here. I want to see if the stats come up. I don't know if they have stats. Oh, the ATP website, the French Open website has the stats. I'm going to see something quickly. I want to see what percentage of return points did Dolo win today? I'm really curious. It could be as high as
Um,
50%, which is like comical. Dolo won. Dolo won 50% of return points.
wow.
Even 50.
That's insane.
57 out of 115.
And he probably lost more return points in the first set. Granted, he lost that set 6-3. So
Yeah.
if you count the return points won in sets 2, 3, and 4, it probably was like more like 55, 60%.
Yeah. I'm sure it was. I mean,
Crazy.
yeah. Yeah. Paul won 42% of return points. He got trounced. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
Paul won 55% of first serve points.
55% of first serve points?
Yeah, like when he made the first serve, he was barely had an advantage. It's crazy.
Crazy. It's crazy. That shows how well Dolo played, I guess. I mean,
Yeah.
but also, I'm going to
But I
give him
mean, he does
credit
have
for
the forehand.
Dolo.
Like that forehand is good.
It's good. And it can hit through any conditions. Like, and
Yeah.
that's the biggest shot on the court. And when it's that slow, you need that weapon.
I mean, he hit through Zverev. Like he dominated Zverev in
Madrid.
one of the turns. Madrid, yeah. He beat him like 4-3, but he beat Zverev. He like just
Yeah,
dominated Zverev.
I know.
Like,
I know. He played at that level today.
like good Dolo is a top 10 player on clay.
I agree.
Good Dolo on clay is top 10. I am very down on Dolo on any non-clay surface, but good Dolo is top 10 on clay. The
I'm,
problem is like good Dolo doesn't always show up, so he's not actually top 10 as like a full player, but good Dolo is top 10.
and good Navoni is top 20 on clay. No.
Is there actually a good Navoni? Does that exist? Like Navoni's just Navoni. He's neither good nor bad. Like
I'm gonna get rid of that take. Like scrap that. Scrap that. If you heard that on that podcast, just pretend I never said
But
that.
honestly, like the amazing point, like, there actually is a point here though, because the point isn't that you had that take. The point is that you put an X poll up, and like I laughed at you for it. But the
Uh-huh.
point is that you put an X poll up, and 45% of people agreed with you.
At that point. That is true. That is true.
Like, you know, you really have to catch yourself. Like, I mean, I had to catch myself 5 minutes ago on Tommy Paul, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, you have to really catch yourself, like watching two matches and like overrating a guy or underrating a guy. Like we hyped up Arnaldi 30 minutes ago and like, okay, that's great. He's an awesome match against Rublev.
But he might get trounced by Tsitsipas.
He's got to back it up.
Yeah, he's got to back it up 100%. Yeah, for sure. A guy that didn't back it up was Zhizhen Zhang. He played an absolutely pathetic match against Tsitsipas, and like I understand Tsitsipas did play well, and like this is the best surface for him. And I think heavy slow conditions are even better for him, right? It just gives him that extra time on the ball, right? But still,
well, it just helps the backhand so much. Like that's the biggest thing. Like that backhand in slow conditions actually looks passable. It's not good, but it's like passable.
Well, his forehand is so good it makes up for it.
Exactly. The backhand doesn't need to be good. It just needs to be passable. It just needs to be not a disaster.
Same thing with Casper Ruud, right? Like the backhand.
The other thing is like the other thing is with Zhang is like it's probably not a good matchup for him. A guy like Tsitsipas, he's probably better off against the guy who he actually like can out hit because like he's gonna make a crap ton of errors regardless of who he plays.
True. I just thought he could get enough balls to the backhand even in those conditions, but it didn't matter.
I don't think he like really cares though one way or the other. Like he's so undisciplined, you know. Like
yeah,
he also looked like he got a little bit like frozen.
he did. He did. He didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Tsitsipas is a guy that like we forget about. You know, like we talked.
I mean, we literally just talk about like your favorite, like
yeah,
favorites.
I know.
Like he's got to be in the mix.
So the mix is Djokovic, Ruud,
the mix,
Zverev, Tsitsipas. Do you put Medvedev in there? I mean, like
no. I mean, the mix is
not right.
In terms
Alcaraz,
of winning the tournament, it's Djokovic, Ruud, Zverev,
Tsitsipas.
Tsitsipas, Alcaraz, Sinner. Those are the 6 in my mind that have a realistic shot.
Okay. And do you think Medvedev prefers these like slow, heavy conditions, or he would like it to be a little quicker?
No, he's got to have be quicker. He's got no net game. Like he can't put away points.
But don't you think having a net game is more important in slow conditions? Because like if you can't hit through the court, you need to finish points.
Yeah, that's why quicker conditions would be better for Medvedev.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Is it supposed to warm up like and like get better on the second week? Like
I
are
think
they
a little
playing
bit, but
outdoors?
not like a ton. I think it's still cool, but I think at least it's supposed to be like a little bit more sun, maybe.
Yeah, next week it's not really raining every day.
Which will help. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I'm seeing like partly cloudy and like in the low 70s, which is
70s.
like it's
Yeah.
not hot, but it's warmer.
Okay. But there's been so much rain that I think it's gonna like stay relatively heavy and cool. No?
Definitely for the next round. I don't know if it'll be that way for quarters and semis, like at some point, right?
Yeah. Any other guy we didn't talk about? Holger Rune. That match
I
with
mean, hey, he
Kovalik
straight
was
said somebody
awesome.
today, right? He straight said
No,
Kovalik.
he straight said Kovalik, but it was
It was 7-5 and
complicated.
7-6.
I know.
Oh yeah, yeah.
He was up a break early in the third. He got broken back, and then he broke to serve for the match at 5-4, and he got broken there too. So like he's still a mental head case. Like he's all over the place. And he couldn't close out the bully until the third set, until the fifth set tiebreak. That was a fantastic match, by the way. I don't know how much of that you saw.
I didn't.
Oh,
Um,
yeah, that was awesome.
I mean, somebody on the negative side, Baez loses again. He
Yeah, he
loses from 2 sets down
just
to
from two
Offner.
set. Yeah,
Like,
I feel bad because he doesn't deserve this choke label, the choker label, but like that's what he is. It's terrible, but like I feel bad for the guy because like he's a coach's dream, right? He never cheats the game. He always battles, but it's just like that's what he's become.
he just is who he is. You know what I mean? Like, I think like it's disappointing, but he is who he is. It's just like it's just disappointing year after year after. You know, this is the second year in a row that he's had a really good South American clay run. Last year he won
Yeah.
Kitzbühel then on European clay, but it's at altitude. Like it just feels like he just like he can't win. Like it's got to be his house to win.
Yeah.
It's got to be like tough conditions for the other guy. It's got to be something that helps him play up. Like top 20 is a little overrated for him, to be honest.
Oh yeah,
Like I don't
100%.
think he's a top 20 tennis player in the world. Like
Well, it's weird because like Baez has way more career accomplishments than an Echeverry, but in a slam or a big, clay Masters 1000, I would 100% back Echeverry over
oh, in
Baez.
any big tournament, unless it's in Baez's house, Echeverry is the way better player.
Yeah.
Like
But Baez
he's
has
much more
so many
well
more
rounded.
titles.
What?
Baez has so many more titles. And like those
Right.
titles are tournaments that Etch is competing in too.
Yeah, I
It's
know.
like it's
I
so
know.
weird. So weird. Like,
Um,
do you think
I did
Baez
think if
would
Pablo
trade?
Kotovic shot out, I did think he actually played really well against Sinner. He lost 4-4 and 4, but I thought he played pretty well
Yeah,
against Sinner. I
I
thought he
agree.
competed really well.
I agree.
Um,
That guy battles. He's a battler.
yeah, and he beat Nori in round one. Like
He's
came
over
back from
in
2-1
too.
down, and he was up a break in the fourth, got broken back to extend that set into a tie break. Like he's just a guy I like. Like I like the more I've
Yeah,
watched him, the more I've liked him.
agreed.
Oh, a guy who's playing
Yeah.
actually, who's still in the tournament. Dimitrov. How do you feel about Dimitrov? His match. I don't know. Did you watch his match against Zizou today?
Yeah, I saw a little bit of it.
I thought he was quite poor. I
Poor.
thought it was quite a poor match from both guys. Like I thought Zizou showed why he's a challenge level player still. Just
Yeah.
way too many misses. Like especially on like he would break Dimitrov. Like Dimitrov would hand him a game. and then Zizou just handed it right
Well, we
back.
talk
That
about
happened like three
Machac
or
and
four
Arnaldi
times.
being undisciplined, right? Like Zizou takes that undiscipline to the next level, right? Like that's
Um,
but like I view him as like a way worse version than those two because he's talented like those two guys. He's a decent athlete, but he just is so undisciplined.
I just think that like there's been a lot of hype around Zizou Berg, but I just think the reality is he's not that good. Like his talent level just like it's not that high. Like
Yeah.
it's he should be able to make a career on the pro tour. I'm not saying he like sucks horribly, but I don't think he like where do you think Zizou ends up? Like what do you think his peak is at this point?
I think he needs to get his fitness concerns under control as well. Ceiling is probably top 50.
I agree. I agree. Like I think he'll be a solid ATP player. And he'll probably at some point crack the top 20 because like guys, you see
But
guys kind of like move in and out of the top 20 for a couple weeks by like chance, but like I don't think he'll be a top 20 mainstay at this point.
but he plays better on the big stage. Like I feel like today he played actually at a pretty high level relative to his normal level. And even though you may
And
not think
like
so, but I think like he could lose any like random challenger match to some scrub, you know? And that's
I just think
where
like way too many, way. I thought I was very disappointed. I mean, I cashed my over 3.5 sets bet, which is why I was watching it, but today was pretty disappointing. Like Dimitrov was pretty disappointing.
he was. And I think these slow conditions like hurt him because he can't hit through the court.
I
This
think
thing
it's
is tough.
partially that. I also think it's partially like on the clay court, like the slice just kicks up too high. Like
Exactly.
his slice is slightly nullified. Like that's one of the better things
Yeah.
he does.
Right. 100%.
And you're right. He doesn't hit big enough on clay to really like be able to get in because he's also a pretty good volleyer, but he doesn't hit big enough to be able to get in. Like
And he's a good mover, but if he's like 30 feet behind the baseline, like he's going to
he's not
drop
a good
it
mover.
short. Like,
Like he's a good mover, right? He's like a quick mover, but he's not like the way like a Medvedev is or an
yeah,
Arnaldi is.
he's an elegant mover. He's not an explosive mover, right?
Yeah, I think that's a really good call
Yeah.
out. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, yeah.
I mean, I guess we got to talk about Shap. We talked a little about Chapo, right? I didn't really say. Oh, Chapo beat
Yeah.
TFO somehow.
Cash the -1.5 sets there, but
um,
yeah.
FAA's in the fourth round. We'll talk about him later, but I mean,
Yeah, I mean that was
I
more
watched a little bit of that Shelton match. Actually, I didn't watch it. Like, I watched 4 games, and I was so disappointed in Shelton. I just
yeah.
went back to bed. Like that's all I have to say about the Shelton match. Like, I was just like, this is dumb. Like, why? Like, what? Like, this is useless.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean that line was ridiculous. Like for FA to be -150 there was like ridiculous.
I didn't hit it, and I obviously regret it. Like, yeah, it's just maybe I need to update my thoughts on FA. Maybe he's better than I think.
Yeah, yeah. He's slowly creeping up. He's not like automatic fade. I mean, I think he's fadeable in certain instances, like in an instance we'll talk about shortly. But yeah, he's been better. He's been a little better.
Yeah.
So
Um.
we gotta talk a little bit about Struff Demonor. That was disappointing. We didn't cash the GBM play. The rain
Especially because Struff was up a break in the second and the
no.
third.
And the rain delay happened at precisely the wrong moment.
It did.
It's
It
terrible.
did.
It just like ah, just terrible, terrible.
It did.
He got the break and then it started raining. And then Demonor made better adjustments. Like,
Yeah.
that's the thing with Struff. He doesn't make adjustments. He plays one way and one way only. And
But I said this. We were on the Discord and Tony Piranha, our normal third guest.
yeah,
He said, he was like, "Oh man, I can't believe somebody actually held a service game to love." And I think you saw my response. I was like, "Well, that's part of the thing that's cool about Struff is like he only plays one way,
yeah,
and like it doesn't matter what's going on, he plays that way."
yeah.
And I think there's something to be said about having like he has an identity. Like in team sports, you hear this all the time, like, oh, a team needs to have an identity. And we don't really talk about with tennis players very much, but like Struve has an identity.
He does. He does. And if it works, it's phenomenal. But when it doesn't work, it's ugly.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And like it worked before the rain delay, and it didn't work after the rain delay.
Yep.
And like
Yep.
that's why the result is what it was, right?
Yep.
Yeah, not much more.
Like, wait, okay, so then the last thing we have to talk about is just tears for Griekspoor, man. I was so hoping he would knock Zverev out of the tournament just because, like, I have rude futures, so like I want to see those hit, but also like I just want Zverev out of this tournament so badly.
So he could focus on the trial.
Well, I think he only had one court date and that's done, but
Oh.
like,
Because
but yeah, but he hung the jury today. He was able to successfully hang today's jury.
I know he did. Yeah, the jury is adjourned.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Yeah, I was doing like during the match today on the Discord, I was doing commentary with like court analogies.
Yeah, I know. It was great.
It was just fun. And then like when Griekspoor won the fourth set, I was like, guilty.
Yeah. That was great.
It was funny. It was funny.
But Griekspoor completely, I was so sad. I don't know if you saw that at all, but like Griekspoor was 4-1 double break up.
No, I know.
And just proceeded to just hand two breaks away. Just started double faulting all over the place. Like
he does this a lot. Like Griekspoor, like he's a good player, but he's not very good at closing matches against.
Which is a problem because he's actually not like he's so limited. Like if you're going to be that limited, you need to be able to close matches out when you get a chance.
Yeah, it happened against Sinner in Miami too, right? Like he was up, he won the first set, and I don't know for a fact if he was up a break in the second, but I know he got it to 5-all, and then
he got to 5-all in the second. That was his chance, and he didn't come through. Yeah.
So, I mean, he has a very poor record against top 10 players.
Well, I mean, I think it's because he's so limited. I think it's more because he's so limited than because of like. But it was disappointing. Like
he's had lead multiple times against top players and just couldn't put it away.
Yeah, like I said, today was disappointing. Like I really would have. I wanted, yeah. Today was very disappointing.
Agreed. I thought he played really well relative to his normal level, especially on clay.
Well, I thought he mixed it up more. Like I was really impressed by how much he and I was also really impressed by his tactics. Like he stayed out of rallies with Zverev, which was smart. Like
utilize the drop shot a lot.
A thing here with Zverev. Like Zverev actually struggled with Griekspoor. I don't know if you know that, or if you realize that. I brought up this like, I know he's now 4-1 head to head, but like, it's the match has been close.
Yeah, but that didn't factor too much into my handicap because like they never played on clay.
That's fine. I didn't factor in much either. Like I didn't bet the match myself. But I do think there's something to be said about like Zverev's kind of like the petulant junior who gets angry if a player doesn't hit with him the way he wants to.
It's so true.
Like if a guy hits the ball too low or hits the ball or plays too many drop shots or doesn't just hit straight forward at him, he gets he doesn't do well with it.
Yeah, he's that's so true. Yeah, he just finds things to whine about. It's he's a complete whiner. But like, I agree with you on the Griekspoor tactics. And like one thing I noticed is that he was hitting a ton of rally balls to Zverev's forehand. And if that meant hitting backhands down the line to his forehand, he was doing that. Like he wasn't hitting aggressive balls down the line. He was just hitting like deep, solid balls to Zverev's forehand. And like that would draw a ton of errors. Especially when
I thought he also did a really good job of just in general not playing a lot of rallies. Like he really tried to get out of rallies when he could by hitting drop shots or by coming in kind of stupidly, but
well, he's really good at net, and you pointed that out on the Discord. Like he's not a bad volleyer by any means.
Well, it's A, that, and B, you really don't want to rally with Alexander Zverev. Like you're not hitting 15-ball rallies with Alexander Zverev is not a good idea.
No. I mean, it depends on what kind of mood Zverev is in because he goes into these passive spells where he kind of reverts to his counterpunching. And then I
I
don't think
guess I still
rallying.
don't think if you're Italian Griekspoor,
If you're Talon Griekspoor, you don't want to rally. But if you're Novak Djokovic, I think rallying is fine, right?
put those top five guys in like a different category, right?
Oh,
Like, you know, like there are guys in the, like there are guys in the tour who can rally with him and maybe stand up to him, right? But like
yeah,
most guys, right? Like we talk about like some of these guys like the guy Hamed Munar is gonna want to like rally with Zverev and go 30 to ball
no.
rallies. Like that's just not gonna happen. Like
Right.
that's not the way to win. Like
So
he's
if you like think back to that Garin match in Munich, right? Like, did Garin do similar stuff that Griekspoor did today?
I think that was more about Zverev just like it was cold, it was windy, like
Okay. It wasn't the conditions to his liking, right?
yeah, I mean, honestly, like there's a lot going on there, you know. Like, and I
Yeah.
think everyone was pretty aggressive, you know. Like, I think everyone was more aggressive, and I think like that's a, you know, like I think that's how you have to play Zverev. You know, you have to you like again like if you're outside of there's maybe five guys in the world who can rally with Zverev, and if you're not one of those guys, you've got to stay out of rallies.
Yeah.
Like playing 15-20, like because Zverev, he's a good athlete, he's in fantastic shape. He's
Hmm.
got a fantastic backhand.
Yeah.
You bitch about his forehand a lot. I don't think it's that bad. Like I think it's good. It's not as good as his backhand, but it's good.
It's
Um,
it's good in the slot, right? You say he's a good ball, like he loves balls in that like strike zone of his.
yeah.
When the forehand is out of his strike zone and he has to defend on the forehand, it's actually
I mean the
pretty.
backhand is the same issue, right? Like that's why Thompson gives him trouble.
Yeah, but he has
And it,
more range on the backhand, which is weird because
maybe
like
a little bit, but like I thought Griekspoor actually did a lot. Like that's why like, Griekspoor had a lot of success because like he had a lot of balls. Like he kind of refused to hit balls into the slot.
yeah. And also Zverev is way better running side to side than up and down, right? Which is why Griekspoor using the drop shot was a very
But I do have to
effective
give Zverev
tactic.
credit. He's gotten a lot better at that. He's not good at it yet. He might be like passable at it now or like average,
Yeah.
but he's done a lot of work to get better at that.
Yeah, I would agree.
Like, we hate doing this, but Zverev's, like, as a tennis player, he's done a lot of good work to improve.
Yes. Yeah.
And like even like working around the second serve, now making 70% of first serves, like and even the second serve, he's not double faulted as much as he used to. Like he's done a lot of things to get better as a tennis player.
Yeah, I actually think his dad is a underrated head coach. Like in the under like he understands the game really well, his dad, because like he's built two or he's like coached two tennis players with a completely different skill set. And they both made the professional level.
I mean, the fact that Misha Zverev had the career he did.
Yeah, playing serve and volley, right? Like if you would have never known that those two guys are brothers based on the way they play, right? Like it's crazy. And like that shows that his dad kind of uses their skill set and tries to maximize what they have. And like that's what a good
And is
coach
there a
does.
single like serve and volley on the tour right now? I can't think of one.
Pressy.
Is Cressy on the tour? Like I
No,
went to Cressy right away, but like is Cressy on the tour?
no, he's not. Yeah. Well, it might be a reason why Misha Zverev is retired now. You know,
I mean, Misha Zverev,
he's
he's
old.
also older, right?
Yeah.
Like how old would Misha Zverev be now?
Mid-30s, I think. I don't know. I
Yeah,
could.
37. If he was still playing, or 36 if he was still
Yeah.
playing, like, yeah.
Right. Yeah. So if you were to list those favorites from 1 to 6, what would the list be?
That's such a damn big question. I'm gonna go Zverev 1,
Wow. Okay.
Alcaraz 2,
Ooh. Okay.
Sinner 3.
Okay.
Who else is left? And I mean, who Rune, Djokovic,
Rude.
and who else? Who's the sixth?
Tsitsipas.
That was the bus. Probably Djokovic fourth,
Okay.
and then Rune and Tsitsipas would be 5 and 6. I just don't know. I don't know if like I don't know if I think they confused like can Rune or Tsitsipas beat top to like can they beat like can Rune or Tsitsipas beat and like those top 5 guys back to back? That's my question with those two. Um and yeah, but Zverev won like I know he struggled with Griekspoor today, but like the only question with Zverev is can he mentally close a slam?
Yeah, that's a huge question mark. So I can't just by default I can't put him at 1.
Well, you put Djokovic at 1, right?
I put Djokovic at 1.
Okay.
Um, I'm gonna put Sinner at 2 just because of the draw. Because I think he has the easiest draw up to the semis, and then having 2 days off is gonna help him. So I gotta put Sinner at 2. I'm gonna put Casper Ruud at 3. Um, I'm gonna put Zverev at 4. I'm gonna put Alcaraz at 5 and Tsitsipas at 6. And Alcaraz and Tsitsipas would play in the quarters. I think Zverev actually has a tough draw. Like I think Holger Rune, like I know we crap on Rune a lot and like he hasn't been good, but when he plays a top player, he's always dangerous. And I think
No,
that's
Zverev is a tough draw.
that's a tough,
He has to
tough
play
fourth round.
Rune. He has to
Then
play Zverev Senior. He has to play
and Medvedev, like
Zverev
psychologically, he has
Senior.
the edge.
Zverev Senior.
Zverev Senior. Zverev Senior, exactly. Medvedev. And then like say he plays Ruud in the semifinal, like Ruud whooped him last year, right? Like that, you know, I think Ruud is tougher mentally than Zverev. And then Djokovic, it speaks for itself. Like if he gets there, he's in good form. So I think, I don't know, I don't really like Zverev's chances anymore. But we'll
I
see.
hear you.
We'll
It's just
see.
like it's tough. It's tough. Like there's such obvious question marks with all 6. Right? Like all 6 have a very
But
obvious
I think a
question
lot
mark.
of the question marks with Djokovic were answered in those last 2 sets.
Disagree. Like we'll just disagree. Like there's nothing more to say there for me. Like
See, I wouldn't be surprised if he comes out against Dolo and just whoops him. Like,
I wouldn't be either. I wouldn't be either. But
okay.
all
All right.
right. Oh, we have
So,
to before our teams. How are we doing on our
oh
teams?
yeah. Good question. Let's see.
You got to pull it. Do you have a screen you can pull it up on?
Yeah.
There we go. We got to pull up the team. See how the team. I feel like I'm doing pretty well, but I might not be. I'm not actually sure. I forget who's even on my team, to be honest.
So I have let's make it a little bigger. I can't. All right. So I have Zverev, Djokovic, Yari, Rune, Tabilo, Struff, Perkac, Darderi, and Medvedev.
So you
So
took a bunch of zeros.
well, Darderi won a round. It's not a 0. It's
But
10.
Medvedev has a 0, right? Tabilo's a 0. Isn't Yari a 0?
Yari's a 0. Yeah, but I have Zverev, Djokovic, Rune, and Hubie still in.
All
You
right.
have Rude, Tsitsipas, Fritz, Kachanov, who we didn't talk about him, but he had a 2-set lead against Kovalik and lost.
I have no idea how that happened. I have no like as somebody who's a member of my team, as the coach of my team, I do not have an explanation for what happened to Kachanov. So no comment.
Okay. Excuse me. Medvedev, Paul, Dimitrov, Cerundolo, and Baez.
So I have 5 guys still left alive.
Ruud, Tsitsipas, Fritz, Medvedev, Paul. No, Medvedev, Dimitrov, and Cerullo. Yeah, you got only 2 guys are eliminated off your team, Baez and
Wait.
Paul.
Oh, that's right. I have 7 because I have Ruud, Tsitsipas. I forgot Fritz beat
Yeah.
Kokonaki in 5 sets.
Yep.
Medvedev, Paul, Dimitrov, or Medvedev, Dimitrov. No, I have 6. Paul's out, Baez is out, and Kachanov's out.
Yep.
So I have 6 left, and you have 4 left.
Yeah.
And I
But
think I have more points than you already because I think my guys who are out did better than your guys.
well, you have 2 top dogs, and I have 2 top dogs. Right?
Fine. But I have more points.
Yes.
I
Yes.
took less zeros. I don't think I took any zeros actually.
Baez won a round. Paul won 2 rounds. Yeah.
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 Catching up 1 round.
So you're definitely up, but like, the final.
Oh, it's still look because it's based on ATP points, like
Yeah.
whichever one of our guys wins the tournament is gonna have a huge advantage.
Yep.
And I will say, I will say I like your top 2 more than my top 2. Oh, we got some drink menus there.
All right, so quick break, and then
Yeah.
we'll get into the round of 16.
Yep. All right.
All right, welcome back to the show, everyone. Apologies for me coughing and stuff. I'm struggling with a little cold, but that's not going to stop me from.
I will say, given it's a
yes.
weekend night, it helps we're a little more awake than usual.
Yes.
Usually by this time we're like falling asleep during the pod. We feel weird.
I know. Like if I had work and then play tennis on top of it, it's like it's brutal. It's brutal.
Yeah.
But all right, so let's get into these matches.
Yeah.
All right, so let's start with the first match, Arnaldi versus Tsitsipas. So Arnaldi's a 6-game dog, plus 400 on the money line. Tsitsipas minus 550, over under 35.5. I'm curious to hear your thoughts first.
I think this line is about right. Like I think I don't really see Arnaldi having a very good chance here, Manny. I think you and I kind of talked through it. A little bit in the recap section. This is a very different matchup, right? And that Tsitsipas can put away balls at net, and he will rush Arnaldi more. Or maybe not more, but Arnaldi, he may be more like he'll be equally rushed, let's say, and the chances of a self-destruction, the way that Rublev self-destructed, are highly unlikely.
Mm-hmm.
That said, Arnaldi's a good athlete. He can hit a good ball. I don't think this line should be like 7 or 8. So I don't like playing a side here. What I do like here is the no tiebreak at minus 115.
Okay. Then why don't you play Tsitsipas to win and no tiebreak at plus 110?
I think they're pretty equal.
Okay.
I mean, there's always a chance, right? Like the difference between minus 115 and plus 110 is like question is, do you feel like 85% good that Tsitsipas wins? That's probably about how good I feel,
Well, the line is similar to what the line versus Rublev was. Like that line closed at nearly plus 400.
Yeah.
And this is the same. And I think that Tsitsipas should be I'm laying the 6 here with Tsitsipas. I think the fact that Tsitsipas is able to finish points at net is going to be a huge plus for him. In this,
you better grab it now. I just went to minus 120.
I know. Yeah. I'll look at other books as well, but that's where I'm leaning. I don't think Arnaldi's going to be able to back it up. Like, he's played 2 really good matches in a row. I don't know against a more attacking player where he's going to be put under more pressure. And he's going to have to find smaller areas of the court because Tsitsipas is going to close the angles by coming forward. Moeller doesn't come forward either, right? So he's played 2 matches with 2 guys that don't come forward.
Yeah.
So
I agree.
I don't think he's going to be able to contrast that very well. So yeah, I'm gonna lay the 6. I'm probably gonna tail you on the no tiebreak, but I prefer laying the 6.
I get it. I hear you. I don't think it's a bad look. Yeah, I just think like you just get you know my thoughts on these big spreads. I generally on these like spreads over 5, I'm very hesitant to play stuff.
6 in a best of 3 is not a best of 5, especially on clay, is not that much. I've noticed.
And no, I mean the question here can Arnaldi win a set? Is the 6 games?
But
Like when you see
Tsitsipas
these
can
spreads
still
of 6, it's
cover.
not really 6. It's more like can Arnaldi win a set?
Not really, because like if Arnaldi wins a set 7-5 or 6-4, right? And then like Tsitsipas, if they split the first two, right? 6-3, 5-7, right?
Yeah,
Tsitsipas is still up one
up
game.
one.
And then
Then you need a 6-3 and a 6-4 to push.
yeah, but on clay there could be a 2-break set.
Right, right,
No?
right. That's what I'm saying. The question is
Oh.
like, but it's hard, right? If Arnaldi wins a set, it's not impossible. It could happen, right? We've seen it happen, but it's not like
And I think Tsitsipas likes serving first.
he does. I'm pretty
You
sure
get
too.
that too. Yeah. So
But I don't know about Arnaldi. I wish I first. Yeah.
yeah, usually these dogs, I like the set one money line, but not in this case because like Arnaldi's not going to go away after a set, right? He's going to keep competing. So I don't think,
Yeah. Like I said, I hear you on it. I get the argument.
and
I
I much prefer the games than the sets here, even though the sets is a better price because like Arnaldi's going to keep competing, A, and B, like Arnaldi could steal a set, but then he can also like have a patch of like 5 or 6 games where he makes a ton of errors, right? We've
Yeah.
seen that before.
Yeah, the
So,
point I wanted to bring up on Tsitsipas this year is quick count. He's played 4 tiebreak sets that I see this so far.
mhm.
Sorry, 5
Mhm.
out of I mean, yeah, 6. He's played 6 tiebreaks in like 45 sets on clay. Like we think he's this guy who's playing a ton of tiebreaks, but on clay this year he really hasn't played that many. His
Mhm.
percentage of sets that have gone to tiebreak is like 15%. I think Arnoldi's is similar. Like,
Okay. Yeah. And the thing is, like, I don't see the no tiebreak bet. Like, I like playing it when neither guy is a choker. Like, when a guy has a reputation of being a choker, I don't like it because if they're serving for a set at 5-4, there's a high chance of them being broken back. And then once when it's 5-all, then you're sweating. Um, so I don't think either of these guys have that reputation. So I like that play.
yeah, I
Uh,
mean, again, I'm just looking at again. So looking at Arnoldi, um,
mhm.
3 tiebreaks has had a 35 for Arnoldi. And like I said, Tsitsipas is around 13 to 15%. So I don't know. Yeah, I like the
No tiebreak at -115.
I think so.
Okay. How about the 3-1 Sissy Pass?
Plus 240. I mean, I could see a 3-0 here, like
Yeah, me
at
too.
plus 240 is probably a pretty good price to be honest. I'd love to see the percentage of matches. Like, I wish I had more time to do more of these stats, but I'd love to see the percentage of matches like guys in this like 5 to 7 game spread range win by 3-1. Because it
Mhm.
feels like it should be pretty high. Like I feel like the 6 game spread is almost predicting like a 3-1 is quite likely.
I like the WWLW. Like that would be my lean if I was going to set exacta. Um, because I feel like Sissipas might come out pretty well, and then like he might relax after the 2 sets. That's another takeaway I've had from like these first 3 rounds. Like these guys, you could tell that they're not used to playing best of 5 tennis. There have been so many instances, like even Medvedev today, like he won the 2 sets and then he kind of like relaxed that little bit. And that's what forced the 6-1 set.
Yeah.
You know,
It's hard to beat a guy 3-0, man.
it happened with the Fritz, like his level dipped in the third.
Yeah, it's hard to win 3-0.
And that's another reason why Djokovic is so good in these slams, is because he's just so much more experienced in dealing with best of 5. It's a totally different game. It's crazy. Best of
It's a
5.
totally different game, but
Yeah. So that's why I would lean that WWLW.
okay, it's interesting. Look, I mean, it is a good price. 850 is a good price.
Yeah. So I might sprinkle on that too. So okay. Sounds good. So you're playing the no tiebreak, and I'm playing I'm laying the games with Steph.
Yep.
FAA against Carlitos. Alcaraz is a 7-game favorite, minus 850 on the money line. FAA is plus 550. Over under of 33.5. It's a big spread. This should be, especially on like slowish clay, it should be pretty straightforward for Alcaraz. It should be. But then again, we've talked about multiple times, he hasn't been impressive since Wimbledon. Right? So I don't know. I don't know. What are your thoughts here first?
So I usually the way I do is I cap these matches and I go, okay, what would I cap this match at?
Yeah.
And when I did it, I literally said I would cap this match at 7.
7.
Like, I don't like the two sides of this are like I think Alcaraz, like peak Alcaraz, the entire match is way more than 7 games better than FAA. But Alcaraz could easily fall asleep for a set. And then all of a sudden, like, the 7 gets really hard to cover.
Yeah.
So I think this spread is right. I'm gonna pass here, and this likely ends up being a full pass for me. Like I'll
Okay.
look at the props, but it likely ends up being a full pass for me here.
Yeah, I think it's about right. If I was leaning one direction, I'd probably take the 7 with FAA, just because of Alcaraz's, as you said, his tendency to fall asleep for a couple games. But it's a lean. I don't really like it.
Yeah.
Um, the 4 sets at plus 210 is kind of appetizing. I would then just play, I guess, the Alcaraz 3-1.
Yeah, I
Um,
don't know why. Yeah, I mean,
plus
yeah.
235. Not bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't see FA winning 2 sets here, right?
Yeah, I mean, the only way I see him winning one set is if Alcaraz falls asleep for a set, a la what happened against Dijon. Like he's not gonna, you know.
Yeah, because what does FA do that can really hurt Alcaraz on this court? Like, I understand he can hurt him in a lot of ways on like a fast court, but on this court,
Nothing. Nothing. Nothing.
nothing.
It has to be Alcaraz making errors. I just don't know that I trust Alcaraz to like go 3 sets without dumping a bunch of errors. So, like I said, to me, this is a pass.
Pass. Okay. The over 19.5 is actually appetizing because you could still get there with straight sets. That's probably what I'm gonna do.
Okay.
Because what do you need then? You need 2-7-5 or 7-6 sets to get there in straights.
Yeah. You need 275s or you need FA to win a set.
Yeah, that's probably where I go. I'm gonna hit that at even money. The over 19.5.
I get it.
Yeah. Something like that I would do. All right, next match. Hubie Hurkacz against Grigor Dimitrov. Hubie is a 1.5 game dog plus 105 on the money line. Dimitrov is minus 125, over under 40. So this is like the most useless match because like these guys are gonna like fight hard for this match, but you know that they have no chance in like any future round.
I know.
It's like, okay, it's for fourth round points and fourth round prize money, but then like that's it.
Yep.
And like for a wide open tournament, for a match like this to just be completely useless, it's like it's
Well, it sucks. This is two guys who are like either top 10 or very close to top 10 if they're not.
yeah.
Like, I don't remember like if Dimitrov is still in the top 10 exactly or if Tsitsipas passed him now. Nope, Dimitrov is in 10th right now. So yeah, it's two top 10 guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it should be a close match. It's kind of what the line suggests, but I'm on two plays here. I'm on Hubie money line at plus 105, and I'm on the over 40.
I'm just on the over 40. Like
Over
yeah.
40? Okay, that'll be GBM, I guess, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's death and taxes, man. Like, who does not bet on death? Who does not bet on taxes? Like, those are two things no one
Yeah.
bet on. And QB overs is the
Seriously.
third. So
Yeah,
yeah.
taxes and Hubie overs. Yeah, I like Hubie as a dog price. Like any if he was a favorite, I'd lay off, but like as a dog, I'll back him.
I
Um,
get it.
I think this should be a pure pick 'em. And like you talked about how you weren't impressed with Dimitrov. And like I think with Hubie's serve, he has a slightly better ability to hit through the court. Not from a baseline perspective, but like with the serve.
I mean, the
Um,
best shot in the court is the Hubie serve.
exactly. So that's why I would lean that way. I might actually take the 1.5 game. Like that might actually that 1.5 game might actually be important, you know?
Could be. Could be. I mean, yeah. I'm just on the over here. Although actually, can you show those specials quickly?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's nothing there. Okay.
Yeah, no. 5 sets plus that's not good enough. 225.
I mean, I think that's pretty good. Like, there's a pretty good chance you
It
end up having tie breaks there. Like, there's a pretty good chance, but like, I think with like some tie break luck, that hits.
yeah, you might be right.
You know, you probably end up in a situation like this. I mean, look, even the Nakashima match for Hubie, right? Like, ended up because I had the 5 sets in the Hubie Nakashima match, and like
Yeah, me too.
that ended up as like you had a 4 set tie break to get there.
Right.
Didn't Hubie play a tie break with Chapo today?
I mean, yeah. And
So
he
like, if
lost the
that
third.
what?
I mean, no Hubie match goes under 4 sets. Or under 3.5, I should say.
Yeah.
So
And
it's a
like
question of 4 or 5.
four, like if Chapo wins the second set tiebreak, that could easily go 5 today. Like I mean, I don't know, man. I think overs here the play. Oh, I may end up playing the over 4.5 sets as well. I think that's got a pretty good shot.
Yeah, one thing. So this doesn't have anything to do with the over, but another reason why I like the Hubie money line is the Dimitrov fatigue angle because he played later into the night and he played longer today than Hubie did. And he played a more physical brand of tennis than what Hubie did with Chapo. So like that combined with the fact that the Hubie
When are these guys
top
playing?
court, huh?
These guys aren't playing until 6 p.m. though. Probably later because usually these matches end up starting later than like the scheduled
Yeah,
time.
it's last on the long one, I think.
So I mean,
But Dimitrov is also like, he's not a spring chicken anymore.
no, but like these guys regularly play. Dimitrov played what, 2.5 sets today? Like that's not a rare thing at all for these guys to come back off a best of 3 match and play. Like it's not rare for these guys have to play 2.5 sets.
Yeah.
Or 2 3/4 sets, and then come back the next day and play. That's like every day on the ATP tour, like in the later matches. Like I get more worried about like if you're stacking best of 5s in a tournament, or if you're coming back like if you're playing a full best of 5 one day and then come back the next day and play another full best of 5, like that can be tricky. But like this is like what do you play 2 hours today or something like that?
Yeah, something like that. 2 yeah. So the head-to-head is very interesting in this matchup because it is 5-0 Dimitrov, but 3 of those meetings have gone the distance.
The true distance, meaning a final set tiebreak.
Yes.
The other thing is every one of those meetings is close.
Yep, super close. The other 2
they've all gone over 25 total games, and that's part of what makes me say the over 40 here is a play.
Yeah, yeah, but the 5 sets has to be a play too. Like,
yeah, what is the final set tiebreak?
It's plus 900. It's not that good. Do you like it?
No,
I would prefer that on like a hard court.
no, I agree. On a clay court, no thanks. Like on a clay court, no thanks. Especially because, especially in a best of 5, like you also have to remember in a best of 5, like
fatigue
I
is.
mean, I don't have any stats that back this up, but I would think in a standard best of 5, the 5th set, like these guys, like there's 2 things. A, like these guys have served hundreds of balls by then, so their arms have to get a little bit tired. Secondly, like the returner's now seen hundreds of balls coming off the server's racket, right? So they have to get a little bit better of a read, you'd think.
Plus, it's going to be pretty slow conditions.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. I don't like the true distance. I mean, it's a fun bet, but I would prefer the I prefer the over 40 or the 5 sets.
I mean, if that was 15-1, I would certainly take that.
Of course.
Yeah, but I mean, they played once on clay, and it was the Monte Carlo quarterfinal. I think you were at my house for that. Remember that match?
I don't remember the match, but I'm sure I was at your house. I just don't remember.
Yeah, we played tennis, and then we just got back and saw like the 3rd set breaker.
Do you remember what the score of our tennis match was?
No, but you probably covered the spread.
That's all I really cared about was did I cover the spread that day?
Whatever, the 4.5 games.
The standard 4.5.
All right, so over 40 will be GBM. I'm also going to sprinkle on the Hubie money line and the 5 sets. So, do you want to make 5 sets GBM?
Yeah.
All right, let's do that. Let's make up some ground on the GBM.
Yeah. I think we should make up some ground. I think we should try to win a bet. That seems like a good idea.
Yeah.
But let's make sure we play the right line there, because like a lot of times, like there's especially Bovada's the stupidest with this. Like over 4.5 sets is gonna be infinitely worse than the 5 sets.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's 225.
Oh, okay. They actually got it right this time. I mean, sometimes they don't. Like a lot of times they'll be like a different line. Yeah. Actually, wait. Can you go back? What are all the exactas there? I want to see something. There's a bunch of 5 set exactas. No, there's so many of them.
There's so many of them. Yeah, 28-1 or 33-1.
Just a second. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Yeah. Yep. We'll stick with the 5 sets.
Okay. Sounds good. Next match, Corentin Moutet, the 25-time Grand Slam champion.
Yes. 25 Slam champion Moutet against 1-time Slam champion Sinner.
Yeah, I think Sinner.
So I think this is a typo because I think this should be Moutet minus 8.5.
He definitely walks around the court and behaves like he should be the 8.5 game favorite.
Right, right.
Yeah.
He plays the part of an 8.5 game favorite extremely well.
He does. He does. Um, I'm gonna take the 8.5 with Mute. Might surprise you, but I don't like this version of Sinner. Something is a little off, and like in the previous segment, I did put him as second favorite in my eyes, but the only reason is because of his draw. He has this match, and then he has the winner of the Hubie Dimitrov match, which is by far the easiest path to the semifinals. So, but I think Mute is gonna trouble him in some way. He's gonna use his court craft and kind of, you know, get balls back in play, use his defense. I think the set one money line is appetizing at plus 375. Um, but do you agree with me?
No.
No. Okay.
So I looked at Mutet's career stats versus the top 10. 0-11. He's won 3 of 30 sets.
Okay. I mean,
I
I'm
just think like
not saying he's going to win the
and
match.
and a year so if this was 2023 spring version of Sinner, I would probably agree with you. But Sinner's gotten so much better at coming forward. I just don't see like how is Mute gonna win? Gonna like how does Mute win a set here? Like Sinner would just have like he just have to like discombobulate Sinner and make Sinner make a bunch of errors. But I just don't think like I don't know, man. I think Sinner's too good for that. Like I think Sinner's just like he's just too good. Like he's gotten a lot better coming forward. He's gotten yeah. I mean I think that's the difference here. I like the under 30 on the total.
Okay. Yeah, 30. If it's straight sets, it does seem a bit high. Like the chances that it's 4-4 and 4, like Kotov, like there's probably going to be a 6-2 or 6-2 set in there.
I mean,
Um,
my bigger piece is like, do you really think like with quarantine Mute, do we really think this is 4-4 and 4?
no, no. There's going to be, well, so now that we talk about it, I'm gonna lay off the 8.5 because of that fact.
I think if you want to play Mute here, the only play here, if you want to play Mute, is the set one money line.
Yeah, and I think I'm gonna do two things. I'm gonna bet the set one money line and the under 30. And I know they
Okay.
counteract each other, but like I don't know. I could actually, well, it can't really be a four set under 30, right?
Highly unlikely.
Highly unlikely.
Possible, but highly unlikely.
Yeah. Um,
I think that's mine.
yeah. I mean, but yeah, now that you talk about it's you're right.
Like this is a different level of opponent, right? Mute is fine and fun when he's like up against weaker competition. And even ATP average competition, he can do all his junk. I just don't know, like, I
Yeah.
don't know, man. Like, and the other thing is like he's not gonna get center into a physical war where that's gonna matter. Like Mute doesn't want to play rallies either.
Right, that's true. But how is Sinner moving forward to drop shots? Like I know he's gotten better at that, but I still feel like he's better at moving side to side.
Both can be true. Right? Like I agree that he's still better moving side to side, but I think
Because
he's got
Mute
I
is
think
going to
his
hit a gazillion drop shots.
oh yeah, of course. Like I think that he's gotten better at moving side to side, but I think he's fine now at moving forward, right? Like it's like I said, both can be true.
Yeah. Do you like the -3? If you're gonna take pro center, do you like -3.5 in the first set? Or like
No, so like,
under-
the stats don't necessarily bear it out, but I think if there's a set where Mutet competes, it's probably set one.
he's lost more first sets recently, though. Like that first set narrative might be kind
He
of.
has, but I think in this specific match, like if Sinner's just beating him down, doesn't Mutet get like sad and just go away?
You really think he does that in front of the crowd? Like the French crowd, they're going to be pulling for him.
They
Don't think it makes a
probably
difference?
will be, but I don't know, man. Like, I don't think that stops him. He's a 24-time slam champ.
Yeah.
It's not what the crowd thinks. I mean, it's tough, right? Because like, I don't know, man. I just don't know how well he's gonna take to this beat. He's gonna get a beating, and it's just a matter of how bad. Like,
Yeah.
it's a tough match to bet because like the problem here is that like it's a matter of how bad the center see the need to beat him up.
Sinner is pretty ruthless with this kind of stuff. He doesn't
Yeah.
really, and his ball striking is so superior that like, yeah. I mean, instead of the set one money line, I'm just gonna play the LWWW then plus 900, and then play the under 30, and we can make under 30 GBM.
Okay. Yeah, I feel pretty about the under 30.
Yeah. So
It's a low total, but I don't see Mutet being particularly competitive.
yeah. I mean, for that total that under the hit, the best would be like Sinner just gets out to a 4-love lead, and then like Lute is just like, F this, right?
Yeah, I mean that'd be fantastic. I think even if Center was the first set 6-4, I don't think it's a problem.
Yeah.
I think he'll find a multi-break set here.
Yeah.
I don't think Mutet's just gonna be happy taking a 6-4, 6-4, 6-4 beatdown. Like,
But then wouldn't you rather lay the 8.5 than play the under 30? That's like a hedge for Mute like winning a
they're
set.
pretty similar. The problem is like there actually are a fair like if this is 6-6 and 6 for Center, there are scores like 4-4 and 2. Or like 4-4 and 3, 4-3 and 3. Like, there's quite a few. If you think Sims gonna win this, like with winning only 18 games total,
Mhm.
there's quite a few like totals that come in that don't hit that 8.5. Like that 8.5 is really only good if you think it's like if you want to have insurance in case Sinner drops a set.
Yeah, I prefer that because I can see Mute like catching a purple patch for like, a few games and like stealing a set, you know?
Okay, I don't, but
Uh,
okay.
yeah, so I prefer the -8.5 and the LWWW, I think. So,
Okay, like I said, I hear you. I don't agree, but I hear you. I think it makes sense.
so no GBM, unfortunately. Oh,
Not unless like the under 30. The under 30 is my play.
okay. All right. Sounds good. So our one GBM play tomorrow will be the QB Dimitrov over 4.5 sets.
Yep.
All right. So these are Monday's matches. June 3rd. First one is Demonor against Medvedev. Demonor is a 4-game dog. Plus 160 on the money line. Medvedev is -195. The over-under is 36.
I'm
Um,
play Demon -4 here, but I'm passing. Not Demon. I'm saying Medvedev. Dino
Medvedev
Medvedev
-4.
-4 here, but I'm passing. Like these is two guys who probably don't particularly enjoy playing on clay, but I think Medvedev's just the better tennis player. And I don't think it's particularly
So
close.
on clay, is this matchup closer or more lopsided than if they play on hard? It's a tough question, actually. Like, I'm not sure.
Yeah. I want to say clay is better for Medvedev in this matchup. Because like what changes for Medvedev on clay versus hard in this matchup? Like what changes for Demon where they just doesn't move as well on the surface, right? Like that's what changes for Demon.
Yeah,
But, like,
but neither guy does. So it feels like it's a wash.
it's true. That's a fair counter.
I mean, my favorite play here is the Medvedev 3-1 at plus 310.
What's the no tie break?
It's a good bet. Minus 130.
It could be an okay look too.
Yeah.
Like,
I love the Medvedev 3-1 here at plus 310. That's my favorite play.
I may end up hitting that myself. I need to think about I may end up hitting that myself. I think that's a very, very astute take. Just given how much like Medvedev likes to tank sets against, guys for no reason. Like,
Yeah.
I could see him getting bored against Demoner, like just dominating Demoner and getting bored.
Yeah. I mean, Demonor has played Medvedev tougher in the past, right? Like in recent past. I know they played at the US Open last
I
year.
think a little tougher. Medvedev won 3-1 at the US Open.
Yeah.
I think Demoner won in one of the Masters tournaments, if I remember right.
Medvedev beat him in Beijing last year, 6-3. Demonor beat him in Canada last year, 6-5. He beat him in Paris 2 in 3 sets. And then Medvedev whooped him 4 straight times prior. But this is their first meeting on clay. Their previous 8 meetings were on hard court.
Yeah, I don't know. I think this is a pretty good line. Like, I'm probably going to pass it, but I think the market's got this pretty correct. But the 3-1 Medvedev is a good play. Like,
Yeah.
it's very tempting because I think it is a good play. But yeah,
Yeah. The under 8.5 in the first set is actually maybe that US Open meeting was kind of an anomaly. Like the US Open meeting had 4 really lopsided sets. Like Demonor won the first 6-2, and then it was 6-4, 6-1, 6-2. But then I'm looking at their previous matches, and like they had a tiebreak in Beijing, they had a tiebreak in Canada, 7-5 set. So maybe that's like an outlier. So yeah. The over 3.5 sets is also like with Medvedev's, as you said, his tendency of just throwing away sets. Like I think that's a decent line, minus 155. Like what percentage chance do you give Demonor to win this match?
good question. It's a very good question. Without thinking, probably in like the 25 to 30% range.
Okay, I'm a little bit higher, 35 maybe in that
Yeah.
vicinity.
What is the money line? I actually didn't look the money line that way.
Plus 160.
Wow. Yeah, I don't. Yeah. Yeah.
This line shows that they don't really trust Medvedev on clay.
No, the market's not trusting you, Medvedev, but I get that. Like, I mean, I'm tempted. I mean, yeah, I don't know. This isn't really a matter of how much do I trust Medvedev on clay, so I trust Demoner on clay.
Yeah. Because like Demonor's quote unquote tenacity and making a lot of balls, that works against Jan Leonard Struff, who's missing a lot, but it doesn't work against Medvedev. You know,
I mean, that's the problem, right? Like,
that's the problem. Yeah. And who were Demonor's other wins this tournament? Like nothing impressive, right? Munar. I mean,
Renard's actually a pretty good win on clay, and he beat Michelson to death in the first round, but
yeah.
again, that's Michelson.
Yeah. I mean, this is a different animal altogether. But
100%.
Yeah. All right. Sasha Zverev against Holger Rune. So Zverev is a 4-game favorite, minus 225 on the money line. Rune is plus 185, over under 39 and a half. Wow. I thought Zverev would be a bigger favorite here. This surprises me. I thought Rune would be like in the plus 200, 220 range. And I'm actually surprised by that total. I think it's quite high. Um, but maybe that was just my hope because I was hoping to hit Rune money line. At this price, I'm not gonna hit Rune. Um, I'm actually leaning under, and I'm actually leaning Zverev and laying the 4. I think the market is slightly overreacting to Zverev's tight match with Griekspoor. And that's kind of my takeaway here, seeing this line.
Yeah, I mean, this is a tough one because, like, so I'll be completely transparent. I laid the forwards Zverev. I agree, but Rune does tend to play up against this level of competition, and that's the concern, right? Like I don't think it's a shooing bet by any means, but I did lay the 4. I think this should be out like like this to me is like it's pretty close to my minimum buy point. So like meaning like if this was -4 and minus 125, I wouldn't I would this would be a pass. Like this is literally at my minimum buy point, but at this like like literally if this -4 moves like minus 120, I would not hit it. Like it
Okay.
literally is like for me, it's like it's a single unit. It is my minimum buy point. I will play Zverev here at this price. It's
So it's not GBM worthy?
it's not GBM worthy. It's just yeah, it's a very like
I like it. I like it. I was thinking this was going to be like 5.5 with like Rune being like a plus two.
my thinking here, and I don't know how this plays out in a head to head, but and they've never played head to head with Zverev being when Zverev was in the top 10. I don't know if they've played head to head at all yet. Actually, I can look that up.
They played once in Munich.
Right. And when did they do? When did that happen? Oh, that was before roommate. Wait, what's that? 2022 was that?
Yeah. That's when Rune was like coming up.
Yeah, right,
That was
right.
the year that Zverev lost in the semis to Nadal or got injured.
Oh, I just didn't look down it far enough on my list of matches. Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
Don't you think that over under is a bit high?
sure, but I think it's pretty similar to laying the 4. Right? 4-6-4 sets is 40, which is a -4. So I think it's pretty I think it's like I think it's pretty similar to laying the 4. I'd prefer to lay the 4 with Zverev, but it's pretty close. Basically the same thing.
Okay.
You can also lay a set and a half at -120 if it makes you feel better. But I just think with like Rune's propensity to give away sets, I think he has more of a propensity to do that than Zverev. So I'd rather lay games than sets here with Z here.
But Rune also has a propensity to give away sets against weaker opposition. Right.
He can do it against stronger opposition. I mean, it gets mentality to find weaker opposition, right? Like, yeah, I don't see him giving away a set here, but I mean, he could, right? Like if he gasses out or whatever, you know.
I mean, in this match, I just see him being outplayed.
I think it's most likely option 2, but I like having the -4 in my back pocket for those other weird, you know. Rune
Okay.
has to give away sets, he's out of gas. Rune gives away the match in the 4th and 5th, he's out of gas, yada yada. So that's why I like the Z -4. But like I said, I'm not like married to it. It's
Okay.
you want Z -4 as well?
Yeah. Yeah. But that's a 2 unit play for me. I'm I'm pretty confident.
All right, you know what? Talk to me tomorrow. I might become GPM. I might be able
Okay.
to.
Sounds good. I mean, that line might also move.
It might. It might.
All right, Djokovic and Dolo. So Djokovic is a minus 1,200 favorite. Dolo is plus 700. No game spread out yet. Um, the Djokovic 3-0 is minus 150. Dolo to win a set is plus 115.
I love Dolo in a set, man. I don't know how, like, or maybe the over 3.5 sets at plus 125. I don't know. I don't know how, like, Dolo. I mean, I shouldn't say I don't know how, but like with the way Dolo plays, like if he like, I don't know, I feel like he can put one
Yeah,
good set together.
I
Like
mean,
I think this line is actually pretty insane.
it
Like
is
what's driving this line? Is it the Djokovic name? Is it
probably.
the fact that Djokovic has 8 million titles? Is it the fact that he just beat like he's beating Musetti? I know he played really good the last two sets, but like what happened the first three? He went down 2 sets to 1. I just don't like. I don't get how this line
Yeah, the
is.
market is definitely, oh, he's the GOAT. He did a superhuman effort, coming back from 2 sets to 1 down and winning at 4 o'clock in the morning. Like, that's what the market sees. Like, we had this discussion when like Musetti was up 2 sets and like Djokovic looked terrible. Or Musetti was up 2 sets to 1 and Djokovic was
Yeah,
terrible in the fourth. And then like, on the Discord, they're like, oh, what's going on with Djokovic? Like, oh, plus 150 is a must hammer spot. And I was like, I don't think so. Because like I was watching the match and I was kind of evaluating how he was looking the first 3 sets. Like nothing suggested that
yeah.
he would come back in that match. And then as soon as they sent that text, like he just became, the GOAT again, and just played insane tennis. So
Well, if Djokovic reads the text on that Discord, he's a silent lurker,
it,
so
it kind
that
of looks
was
like
very
that.
motivating to him, and therefore he came back and won. So
Obviously
take
I had the
calls.
wrong read, but like I don't even regret my take because there was nothing that suggested that he would come out with that kind of tennis.
And I don't think there's very much that comes out and says he's going to just beat Cerundolo down like this 3-0. Like this line indicates it's going to be a complete beatdown. Man, I have a hard time seeing that. Like,
Yeah, but that being said, I wouldn't be surprised if it is. And then like have these guys played before, like with Dolo in decent form?
I almost don't even care because like I feel like Djokovic 2024 is a completely different beast, you know?
Okay.
And it's also with Cerundolo, like I don't know how much it matters. He kind of just plays his game. If he's hitting, if he's hitting good, he's gonna win. If he's not hitting good, it's gonna be ugly. But this is his circuit.
Wouldn't you rather back Dolo in the first set though?
No, I mean, you think he's not gonna compete? You think he's gonna go away if he loses the first set?
Yeah, you're probably right.
Like
But
you
but
get three
also I
cracks
feel
at
like
it.
well, it also has to do with Djokovic. Like I feel like Djokovic's game is going to get better as the match progresses. And then also like, it's such a late finish, maybe his sleep schedule and stuff is not like
I
exactly
think
what it
any
needs
Dolo
to
line you
be.
want to play here is good. Like
Okay.
I also put money on the money line. Like I think any Dolo line you want to play here is
Wow.
good. I think the set one is
Wow.
fine. Like, yeah.
Yeah, I'll probably play the set one more than the to win a set. Um,
I think anything you want to play here pro Dolo is good. Like I think Dolo is very live here.
okay. I don't think he's live for the match by any means, but I think he's live for a set for sure.
I mean, if he hits a bunch of lines like against Zverev, I have a hard time seeing how he can't beat anybody. To be honest, like
Doing it over three out of five against Novak, like has he beaten like one of these goats before?
I
He has,
mean,
right?
again, this depends. Like, so if you actually think Novak is like at that goat level,
I
then at
don't
this
think
point,
so, but I think psychologically to these guys, it does play a factor. Like I don't think he's playing at that goat level. I just think like getting over the hump and beating one of them is a big deal for these guys that will affect them mentally. Like
okay.
these guys think of it as the same kind of mountain to climb. So I don't know.
I mean, for what it's worth, Dolo 8-9 against the top 10 in his career.
That's pretty good.
Like he's never beaten one of these goats, but he's also he's had a shot against Nadal at Wimbledon. He lost in 4. Grass isn't his
Okay.
best surface.
Yeah. Yeah, and
He
Dolo.
beat Sinner last year in Rome.
Yeah, that's true. That was a good win. It was a really good
Beat
win.
Zverev this year. Like, I don't know, man. To me, this feels like a really good spot to back. I mean, again, do I think Dolo's gonna win the match? No, I honestly don't. But like at 7-1, like I think that's a good. It's just an amazing price. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I think the biggest problem in this matchup for Dolo is the serve. Like he can't win
no,
any 3 points on the serve, so he really has to be
that's a
hitting.
problem for me. It's a lot of guys, right? It's not like it's the first match you ever had that issue. He's
Yeah.
8-9 against the top 10. I think pretty much all those guys had better serves. Maybe Nadal didn't, but like I think pretty much everybody else had a better serve. So I don't know. Not buying so heavy to that.
Okay. All right. Last match is Taylor Fritz and Casper Ruud. Fritz is a 4-game dog. Fritz is plus 200 on the money line. Ruud is minus 250, over under 38.5. Oh my God. This is GBM max worthy, in my opinion. It's the Ruud -4. I'm all over that.
I gotta think more about this one. This one I gotta think more about. I'm not sure here yet. I'm
Okay,
not
I just like yes, I know we call him Claylor, like
He's Claymore, man.
no.
Well, like, what, you're gonna bash the Claymore?
5 sets against Kokonakis, like really? And Ruud is a fantastic clay court player. And I don't know. I think that this should be more like 6 instead of 4.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I hear you. I gotta think more about this one. I mean, like, yeah, I gotta think about it. The problem is like Zverev actually, or not Zverev, Fritz actually has a pretty good serve.
Does it really matter in slowish conditions? Like
Probably not. Like I said, this one I gotta think about. I'll probably we'll probably end up backing this one together, but
I think this line is gonna move though, so I would hit this early.
maybe it will, maybe it won't. I mean, if it moves, it moves.
Yeah. Yeah, I also love Rude -1.5 sets. I mean, that's not quite as good of a price. But and then like if Fritz wins a set, it's probably gonna be like 7-6. It's not gonna be like the 6-1 that Etch did. Like I think that was an outlier.
I agree. The question is just how many like with Fritz's serve, how many 6-2 sets are better than Casper yet?
I mean, I think Rude will get enough balls in play. I think it more has to do with like how Fritz does in rallies.
Yeah,
It's like the best shot
I
on
gotta
the
think about this one. This one to me is a pretty specific match, but I gotta think about it.
Okay.
Um, I'll look at it and let you know tomorrow. I'm
Okay.
pretty, yeah.
That's good.
I'm unsure at this moment.
So our plays for today coming up.
I've
I'm
got Arnaldi Tsitsipas no tiebreak, and
and I'm on the
I have
minus
the GBM
6.
play of Hubie over 40.
Yeah. No. Hubie the over 4.5 sets.
Oh, the GBM is the over 4.5 sets. Right.
Yeah.
I have the over 40, and then I also have the GBM play of the over 4.5 sets. I also have the under 30 on Sinner Mutek.
Yep. I have the -8.5 and I have the LWWW.
LWWW.
Yep. And then FAA Alcaraz. I'm on the Alcaraz over 19.5 there. As far as Monday goes, I'm on Medvedev 3-1. And I might also play the over on games. Did I think of anything else here? Yeah, I don't think so. Oh,
And
maybe
then for me, I'm on the Z -4,
yeah.
and I am on the Dolo money line. I'll probably hit more Dolo. I'll probably have Dolo to set at +115.
Okay.
And then looking at whatever else comes out,
And
tomorrow.
I'll be on Dolo's set one money line, but that's
Makes
about it
sense.
with Dolo. I'm not gonna play him to win the match.
All
Um,
right, guys.
and then
Well,
I'm all,
thanks again to all the followers.
yep.
Really, really appreciate your support. Really had some decent conversation on the
Yeah.
X. Not so much on the YouTube or on the pods directly, but on some of our picks that had a little bit of conversation. So we appreciate that. We appreciate the follows, appreciate the call outs, give likes, subscribe. We love it. We're amazed at how much this has grown, and
Yeah.
we're excited to see it grow more. Also want to just thank everybody who helps out, with the podcast indirectly. So Piranha coming on as a third guest. We've had John Reed, Tidbets Tennis. Also, John Reed also replies a lot to our comments, which is great.
Hmm.
So yeah, I mean, anybody who's helped out in that, anybody who's helped out with the podcast at all, always wanted to give a shout out. A lot of times we don't remember to, but wanted to give a shout out on the
We
spot.
hope to get some new guests on. We're trying to get new Mark bets on.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, we'll see if we hopefully for like a quarters or a semis pod. Although honestly, I feel like the tournament gets so boring to bet on after the fourth round.
Yeah, but it will be just good to like pick their brains and talk tennis.
We can
And
pick some brains. We can always pick some brains, learn some stuff.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
it's good. It's good. So, all right, everyone. Have a good night. Best of luck on your bets. Enjoy the fourth round.
Yep. Best of luck, and we'll post our picks to X.
Yes.